On this episode of Three Tool Players, the Hammer Brothers celebrate their birthdays by sharing some of the weird baseball facts and anecdotes associated with the days of their birth. A superstar keeps cabbage in his head to keep cool. An infielder keeps a cheese sandwich in his pocket. And Brian and Dan talk Bat-nipples and Bat-glasses. All this and more on this episode of Three Tool Players. Welcome to Three Tool Players. I'm Chris Spear, alongside me as always are the Hammer Brothers. Brian and Dan Hammer, say hello to the internets, fellas.
Hello to the internets, fellas, to you.
That was weird. Ahoy, ahoy.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to the both of you guys.
Ooh, thank you, Mr. Spear. I'm a sprightly 31 years young.
Yeah.
Little Hammer. What do you rolling at? I forget the age difference there. You're 24.
Well, if you're 31, then I'm 44, so that means I'm 13 years older than you.
Oh, there you go.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah.
Days and days closer to Medicare. Congratulations, little brother.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for when I'm going to get my AARP card. That's coming pretty soon. That's coming pretty soon.
I saw an ad the other day. It said, "Hey, Brian, get ready for your senior discount." I was like, "You shut up."
That's right.
Not even close. Terrible marketing.
I'll be happy to get all the discounts. Yeah, you know what? Give them to me now. I don't care. I'll be
curmudgeon.
I'm a year older than you, sir. So settle down.
Yeah, I have a young heart, you know. I'm whimsical.
Yeah, my cardiologist says I do not have a young heart. So let's just motor on. So, all right, as a birthday present to you guys, it's your show. What do you guys want to do here?
Well, since we're sticking with the birthday theme, I have a couple birthday things that have happened in baseball on my birthday, and I thought it would be fun to go over some of these things for my birthday as well as older brother, even though he's 31, his birthday as well.
Tell you what, man, 31 is the way to be, you know.
I have a bit of a morbid one to start. I mean, should I start with the morbid one or should
Absolutely.
Yeah, do bad news
Please.
first before you get to good news.
Bad news
All right.
bears, little brother. Make it happen.
The one that stood out to me, this one particular tragic event occurred in 1920 when Cleveland shortstop Ray Chapman was fatally struck in the head by a pitch from Carl Mays of the New York Yankees. This incident led to major changes in baseball rules, including the ban of the spitball and the eventual adoption of batting helmets. 1920.
You mean to tell me that this was the impetus behind the...
This is the reason why we have batting helmets to this day.
I find that hard to believe because there were guys well into the 40s, 50s, and 60s that weren't wearing helmets. So why did they wait 40 years for the adoption of a helmet?
Well, the creation of them, at least. It doesn't have to be
like... So it's the eventual adoption. So the key word here, Bri, is eventual.
He is the only one in baseball history to have directly died from an injury sustained in a game. He's the only one. He's the only one.
True.
So it is.
We saw what happened to Bump Bailey. He went right through that center field wall and he died.
Minus Bump Bailey.
R.I.P. Bump.
He's the only one in Major League Baseball. I mean, there have been others, I guess, in college or what have you, but he's the only one in Major League Baseball to have died directly from an injury sustained during a game, and it just happened to be on your birthday. That's totally messed up.
That's really messed up. Yeah, I agree.
So there's no getting around it. That guy most certainly consumed Jobu's rum.
Yeah.
My goodness. All right. Well, what's the good news then, buddy? Take us out of it.
I don't know. You guys said
Thank you for that too.
Hey, you guys said hey, start off with the the gold. Start off with the meat, and I'm like, well, maybe we
didn't
should
realize you were going to talk about somebody
say,
dying, but all right,
we were going to
fine.
say about dead meat. Jesus, guy, have a little bit of
My God.
optimism. Goodness.
All right. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, where do I go from here? All right. How about this?
Go anywhere else but there.
How about
really?
we switch it up to the positives? How about we go up 100 years from that point? 2020. Believe it or not,
there was
all
a
the
plague
teams
across the globe called Corona.
Yeah.
We know what happened.
My
100 years
Sharona.
later.
In 2020, the White Sox hit 4 consecutive home runs in a game against the Cardinals, tying a major league record. So that also happened on my B-Day.
It's like a lost year too. Like, was anybody really watching? Does it really matter that LA won that year in
It's
the World
true.
Series.
If somebody hits 4 home runs in a row and no one's there to see it, did it actually happen?
Right.
That kind of thing.
Coming
All
out of
right.
that
Well, how
year.
about this? Let's go back all the way back to 1873. So now we're
Please.
going to the realm of the time period of what I play. I play 1864. I play 1870. I play 1873 vintage baseball. The Baltimore Canaries outfielder Lip Pike raced against a horse over 75 yards and won.
What?
Yeah,
Wait,
for
raced
some odd
a
reason.
horse?
Yeah, raced a
Well,
horse.
like as a prelude to a game? Like why
I
the
guess
heck?
so. He played for the Baltimore Canaries. I guess he was really fast. And I guess he said, you know what? I can beat a horse. And he said, let me race one. So
Did
he
somebody
raced a
did he,
horse over
Was it a
75
lame
yards.
horse?
And yeah, I don't know.
was there a
Probably.
No,
They
bet?
probably
Did
had
somebody
the,
bet him?
Yeah.
well, basically what it boils down to is Lipman Lip Pike, a prominent baseball player in the 1870s, did indeed race a horse named Clarence. The horse's name was Clarence.
That's the worst name of a horse I've ever heard in my life.
It's not like it's a racehorse. Clarence is probably like a horse in a barn that hangs out with goats. Like
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, don't mess with Clarence.
Wait, listen. Clarence is the one who pulls the horse-drawn carriages down in like Central Park and has a gas problem. Like that's Clarence. Okay, that's not a real race.
it's
Like,
not Secretariat, it's Clarence. Like get out of here.
It's not like Lightning Bolt Louis or come on.
It's Clarence.
Some kind of
I'm sorry it wasn't
Clarence.
Secretariat, but it was Clarence, all right?
Clarence. Get out of here.
That's like it's like somebody gets yelled at for not drinking his Ovaltine. Clarence.
Yeah, well, you know what? Pike won the race by 4 yards, finishing in 10 seconds flat. He earned $250 as a prize for his victory, which would be equivalent to around $6,600 today.
Get out. Are you
Yep.
kidding?
Wow,
Yeah,
that's nice.
See, this
he
is
beat
this is-
Clarence. He beat Clarence.
This is why baseball is awesome, right? Because you get
Yeah.
these weird stories like this. This is why baseball is awesome. What happened on your? Well, I guess he's your kid brother now. What happened on your kid brother's birthday?
Yeah, I have no idea what happened on. I'm completely
Oh, you know,
oblivious.
So there is a funny thing that happened on Brian's birthday, and it's with your hated rival, the Red Sox.
Okay.
So
Listening.
between 1998 and 2014, the Red Sox never won on your birthday.
This is very respectful of the Red Sox to recognize and honor my day of birth, the day that our mother will tell any stranger that it was a 17-hour ordeal to bring me into this world because I was just as stubborn then as I am now. So thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. And thank you to the Red Sox for being good eggs and honoring my day.
Never winning on your birthday.
Mhm.
This is what you gotta love about baseball, though, right? Baseball is super weird, and there's all kinds of these weird stories and anecdotes and weird stuff. I mean, that's what makes baseball history really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I looked at some weird, funny, random facts, and folks having like multi-hit games, for example, on their birthdays. There's only 2 players that have recorded it. For an example, they've recorded 5-hit games on their birthdays, and both instances belong to one person, and it was Fernando Vina. He did this twice, once on his 29th birthday, and again a couple years later on his 31st. So in 9 career birthday games, Fernando Vina is 21 for 40, good for a 525 average.
Wow! Happy
that's a
birthday,
pretty-
Fernando.
There's some other ones too that were interesting. In terms of birthday hitting streaks, who do you think holds the longest birthday hitting streak record? The person who holds the record with 12 games is Brooks Robinson. I thought that was really interesting.
Brooks
Wow.
Robinson.
Brooks Robinson holds the
Attaboy,
record
Brooks.
for birthday hitting streaks. Grand slams happen at Denny's. We all know this, but in
Mhm.
baseball, there are several players who've hit grand slams on their birthday, but there's only one who has done so with a walk-off extra inning birthday grand slam on July 27th, 2002, and that belonged to Alex Rodriguez.
I have one sticking with,
Yeah.
the Grand Slams. So back to my birthday, Pittsburgh's Bill Phillips became the first pitcher in Major League history to surrender 2 Grand Slams in a single inning. This happened in 1890.
Wow. That's like Hall of Shame material.
Yeah, that's
Good God.
that's straight up Jordan Romano material. I'm sorry, and I'm supposed to be a
No,
Phillies
you're
fan.
not. You're not sorry, and that's
You're
okay.
not
Sorry,
sorry.
not sorry.
But I'll say this, right? So there is only one birthday no-hitter on record, and it was a gentleman by the name of George Mullen. It was the second game of doubleheader. He kept the St. Louis Browns hitless as his Tigers went on to win 7-0. I read up on this guy a little bit. He was an interesting cat. This is a guy that actually broke his contract with another team before signing with the Tigers, and the owners from the other team like chased this guy from town to town. The Tigers would put him in disguise, make him run out the back door so he could keep playing with them. He would jump on a train and go to the next town. And he finally got pulled in. The people that were chasing him were saying, "Listen, we want to put him in jail." Courts came back and said, "Listen, this isn't a criminal offense. This is civil.
Right.
It's a civil offense." So
Mhm.
this went on. This actually dominated headlines. Like this was the TMZ of the day. And this guy, in the end, had to pay $1,000 restitution after several years.
I love that this guy had to lam it because he decided that he didn't want to play for this team anymore. So they're scooting him out the back doors of clubs or restaurants or stadiums, getting him on trains. That's hilarious. That guy had to
In
go on the lam.
disguise.
In disguise.
no less.
Yeah.
You
That
know?
guy had to lam it. That's great.
He had the fake nose and glasses and, kind of they all wore hats back then, but yeah, trench coat. It's hilarious what you read up on these folks. But yeah, he's
It
the
kind of
only guy to
reminds
have
me
it.
of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. They dress me up like this.
Right.
She's got a
Just
what?
losses. All right, so there's two players actually who played their last games on their birthdays. There's a gentleman by the name of Jim Russell and Jim Gott, the two Jims.
Jim
The
and
third
Jim.
Where's the other Jim? They're beauties. They ended their careers on their birthdays. Russell played his last game in 1951 at the age of 33, and Gott played his final game on his 36th birthday back in 1995. Back when
95, huh?
95, what a beautiful summer, right? You had Batman Forever, Val Kilmer running around. Was that when they introduced the Bat-nipples, or was that the Clooney years? I can't remember.
No,
The Clooney years.
wasn't it Batman Forever? I thought it was Batman Forever.
Now we
No.
need to research this. Hey, Google, when did the Bat-nipples find their way into the movies? Batman Forever featured the prominent nipples, a design choice that was met with criticism and amusement.
Bat-nipples.
That's right. Director Joel Schumacher and costume designer Jose Fernandez, they intended the nipples to evoke the look of a Roman armor and anatomy-focused aesthetic for Greek statues. However, it became a major point of contention and ridicule, and many finding it campy and inappropriate of the character. So that's what our good friend Google says about bat nipples. I'm glad that we got that solved, gentlemen.
Super glad.
You know what we are? We're just like Batman. We are the world's greatest detectives. So
I'm so happy that we're talking about like birthdays and then we just switched to bat nipples.
hey, look, it was an organic exchange, Little Hammer. You started talking about 1995. You're not going to come out of that year. Hey, do you remember the glasses they had at McDonald's for that movie? You could get the Riddler, you can get Two-Face, and then Batman, and they introduced Robin. I mean,
Of course
I had
I
all
remember
four.
those.
I
Yeah.
had all four. They were great. And what I liked best, believe it or not, it wasn't the Batman or the Robin or the Riddler ones. It was Two-Face, because the cup of the mug, the handle, right? It was made of his coin, and it was just a sturdy design. So for those of you that are listening, the dozens of you, maybe check your old pantries. Maybe there's some fun McDonald's swag in there, and maybe take out some of those nostalgia glasses.
Well, I kind of
they are awesome.
I like the Riddler ones because they had his question mark as the handle. I
No,
like
that was very nice. I agree with you. It was very nice, but it was
Yeah.
very impractical because it was so delicate, Danny.
You're right. It was thin.
You don't want that to break on you. I mean, you've got Two-Face. That thing is sturdy as all get out.
You realize if anybody were listening to this, they are no longer.
Oh, come on.
Because we just talked about McDonald's Batman Forever glasses for the last 10 minutes and bat nipples. So
It wasn't
Batman,
10 minutes. It was 2.5 minutes tops.
good
Ugh.
Lord. It felt like 10 minutes. Holy cow. I'll tell you what, as long as we're talking about weird stuff in baseball, because that's some of that stuff is positively weird, and bat nipples are positively weird. But as long as we're talking about weird things in baseball, a couple of really interesting stories, non-birthday related. And I'm sure, Dan, this is one that I'm sure you know. On August 17th, 1957 in Connie Mack Stadium, Richie Ashburn hits a foul ball and hits a woman by the name of Alice Roth right square in the nose. And as stadium staff were taking her out on a stretcher, on the very next pitch, Ashburn swings and hits another foul ball, which hits this woman again in her knee. Hit the same woman twice on 2 consecutive pitches. The story continues past the incident itself. Ashburn had visited her multiple times in the hospital, and they actually struck up a long-term friendship, with Ashburn sending her birthday and Christmas cards until her death in the 1980s. And her grandson, and this is my favorite part of the story, while they're in the hospital, her grandson turns around and says to her, "Grandma, do you think you could go to an Eagles game and get hit in the face with a football?"
That sounds like a straight up Philly fan
Delco.
right there.
That's Delco right there for
That's a Philly fan through and
great.
through.
Here's another weird story from the 1970s. Doc Ellis, who was a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, threw a no-hitter while he was tripping face.
I heard
Awesome.
of this.
He forgot that it was his turn to pitch in the rotation. So early in the day, he drops acid. When he realizes that it's his turn to pitch, he rushes to the stadium, doesn't tell the skipper that he's tripping face, and goes out and pitches a no-hitter.
There's something else to be said about the situation, Spear, and this is what I like about it. It goes back to Dan's his date movie for Love of the Game, where you have to clear the mechanism, and basically you shun all distraction. You phase everything out, and it's just you and the glove. So ultimately, LSD helps you get into the zone.
Well, so not to put too fine a point on it, quote, "I was zeroed in on the glove, but I didn't hit the glove too much. I remember hitting a couple of batters, and the bases were loaded 2 or 3 times. The ball was small sometimes, the ball was large sometimes. Sometimes I saw the catcher, sometimes I didn't."
It's outstanding.
He was out of his gourd, and he threw this no-hitter against the San Diego Padres in San Diego.
I mean, it kind of mimics David Wells' perfect game, if you think
Well,
about it.
he was drunk
He was
during that whole
drunk.
thing,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
Yeah, he was half
Yeah.
drunk, bloodshot eyes, and just extremely hungover, and still went out and pitched a perfect game.
Was he hungover or was he drunk? Because I've heard he was drunk during the whole thing.
Well, the story is, he partied with Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, and some other SNL characters, and he didn't come home until like 5:30 in the morning.
Those aren't characters. Those are real people, Dan.
Those are- yeah,
They,
those
they
are
have real
people.
names. Like,
I
if you
said,
told me that
and
he hung
other
out with,
SNL characters, cast
and I'm
members.
telling you, these are real people. Like, if you're telling me characters, then he hung out
Sorry.
with
And
Wayne
other
from Wayne's
SNL
World.
cast members, you jackasses.
And
Yeah.
Toots
right.
is the driving
He's-
cat was there
That's
that
right.
evening
He's-
too.
Yeah, he's doing beer bongs with the church lady. That'd be fantastic.
Day and night, he talks. Never shuts up.
Some of the other like weird things, like, do you guys remember Turk Wendell?
Oh yeah.
Turk Wendell was a weirdo. He would never touch a foul line. He would never wear socks. He wore a necklace made of animal teeth and claws. Do you guys remember this? He had
Oh, yeah.
he had all kinds of like weird stuff that he hunted himself.
Mhm.
But my favorite anecdote here is he had a fixation with the number 9. So if you remember, he wore the number 99. He signed a contract for $9,999,999.99.
And also, it's a clever marketing ploy too. I mean, you sit there and you go to buy gas, you're never buying it for $4 a gallon. Even you're paying $3.99 or $2.99, whatever's happening. You go to Walmart, you go to like supermarkets, everything is what, $1.99, $5.99. Because why? Because it sounds cheaper to you than saying $6.
That's how he got $10 million, right? He didn't negotiate for a $10 million contract. He negotiated for a $9,999,999.99. Snowed them right over. Fooled all of the people at the general manager, everybody in the front office. Fooled
That's
them.
right.
I mean, you had Turk Wendell with his thing with the 9s. Larry Walker had a thing with 3s. He wore the number 33. He always took 3 practice swings, and the rumor is that he showered from the 3rd nozzle. In the locker room, in the shower, he showered from the 3rd nozzle. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? He even got married on the 3rd of the month at 3:33 p.m. I mean, the guy was obsessed
Yeah.
with the number 3. If you're going to talk about rituals with food, Hall of Fame pitcher Jim Palmer from the Baltimore Orioles, I mean,
Mhm.
Pickles
The
Pub
money
Brigade,
store.
the money store, Jim Palmer from the money store. He
Right.
be, he began every game day with a stack of pancakes. That's a heavy pregame meal, right?
Well, I wonder if it's like back in the day where like lumberjacks would have like a stack of like pancakes, right? And sausage, and then
Sure.
they just go out and they just work it out, you know? So it just sits there and it just powers you through. I could see the legitimacy of that.
I'll see you that, and I'll give you this one. An infielder by the name of Julio Gotay always played a game with a cheese sandwich in his back pocket.
This kind of reminds me of like to this day and age, the Milwaukee Brewers manager having pocket pancakes in his back pocket.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He played for St. Louis, Pittsburgh, California, and Houston, and he had a cheese sandwich in his pocket. He played during the 60s. He played from 1960 to 1969, and he enjoyed a good cheese sandwich. Maybe
Mhm.
on a hot summer day in the dog days, he's got
Oh
a
my
grilled
God.
cheese in his back
Yeah.
pocket.
You understand something? That's not just cheese. That is grilled cheese. That is soggy, musty, just sweaty cheese. That is disgusting, dude. Like that's really, really bad. Now let me ask you, it's in his back pocket, right? So does he have cellophane around this thing, or is he like running the bases and making sure he can't slide? He's got to slide head first, make sure he doesn't mess up his sandwich. Like, what's going through this guy's head? And
Right,
He's hungry.
I
What?
was gonna say, I'm like, I'm sure that he didn't wash his hands because you know what? That builds up his immunity. He probably rubs his hand in dirt and takes a bite of that cheese sandwich.
let me
Why
say
not?
something to you. If I was pitching in those days and this guy came to the batter's box and I knew he had a cheese sandwich in his back pocket, I would be throwing at his ass the entire time. I wouldn't care if bases were loaded. I wouldn't care if the game was on the line. I am absolutely throwing at this guy's cheese sandwich. I'm sending a message. I want to tattoo his ass, tell him, stop it with the cheese sandwiches.
If you guys think the cheese sandwich was bad, how about a player who you guys know very, very well, who would place chilled cabbage leaves under his cap during games to defend against the oppressive summer heat?
I'm sure that the smell isn't so nice because,
No.
we do stuffed cabbage all the time. And even though stuffed cabbage tastes delicious, it does have a scent to it.
If you're roasting cabbage up in your cap, that's got to leave a mark, man. I don't know. So the ball player we're talking about is the Sultan of SWAT, the Bambino, Babe Ruth,
Ah,
So no wonder why he hit 700 plus home runs.
because
yeah.
of the
Like, why
cabbage.
aren't more, yeah, why aren't more people? It's performance enhancing cabbage, I tell you.
Yeah. That was his spinach. Like Popeye.
Oh, he strongs to the finish because he eats his spinach.
That's right. But he's got a cabbage for a
Oh
head.
my God. I mean that would be the perfect insult, right? Hey, cabbage head. He kind of had a head that looked kind of like a cabbage too, so I can see that insult. And then he takes off his hat and there he is. He's got like just a head of cabbage falls right out of his head. You know what I mean?
You know what? I'm glad we're telling people this because that might have been just the secret sauce that nobody knew about.
That's it. It's the cabbage. It's the cabbage.
Could
Holy
have been.
cow.
Could have been.
Here's a guy who was traded in 1962. Harry Cheedy was traded from Cleveland to the Mets for a player to be named later. That player turned out to be Harry Cheedy. So he got traded to the Mets, and then the Mets traded him back as the player to be named later.
So that really is a definition of a less than a bucket of balls.
That's
Right?
it.
I mean,
No,
it's like,
you
you know
take
what?
him.
Don't worry
No,
about
you take
No,
him.
no, you take him. No, you know, it's fine. You know what? He ain't worth anything. Oh, that poor guy.
So how long was it?
It was probably days, right?
He
It
was
was
like,
probably
yeah,
That's
days.
he's like-
hilarious.
It's probably just a rental. That's all it was. You know? He's like,
If it
All
was
right,
more
we're
than
good.
if it was more than a couple of hours or a couple of days, I mean, who knows? But like he got traded, and then the player to be named was this guy. Like
See, I think that could be a whole nother show, by the way. It's just like wacky trades that happen. I mean, you hear about folks that get traded, have to walk across the clubhouse to their new team that same like afternoon, in the middle of a doubleheader.
what just happened?
Yeah.
It just happened a couple of weeks ago. Sir Anthony Dominguez was traded from the Orioles to the Blue Jays in between games of a doubleheader. He had to walk from the Orioles clubhouse to the Blue Jays clubhouse and then like waved goodbye to his team. It's like that's harsh, man. Like you just got booted from your team. Like you're gonna go to the clubhouse, get a new jersey on, get up there back in their bullpen.
You know something though. I really hope that on his way to the clubhouse, he asked somebody to go stop across the street from Pickles Pub and bring over some delightful fried food to his new brothers in the clubhouse there in Toronto. And then, of course, he would be completely disgusted when they start putting mayonnaise on the French fries that he had just brought them.
I mean, they're good fries, right?
They're amazing fries. Not if you put mayonnaise
fries.
on them, though. Gross.
Yeah.
Well, the one that you were just saying that, traded within the game, there was the first player that ever happened to. It didn't happen in major leagues. It happened in minor leagues. And it happened in 1986. And the reason why I know this too is because looking up the weird things that happened on my birthday, this happened on my birthday. Dale Holman in 1986 became the first professional player to play for two teams in one game. Two teams.
He got traded mid-game?
He got traded mid-game. And he played for two different teams. He basically went to the clubhouse, put the other team's uniform on, and started playing for the other team.
They have to have rules against that now. Like they can't do that now, right?
In 1986, it could happen.
One more historical oddity that's not necessarily part of baseball, but during World War II, baseball is really at the height of its powers. The U.S. government partnered with the Kodak Eastman Company to develop a hand grenade that was designed to be, it was shaped like a baseball and it was designed to be thrown like a baseball. It was called the Beano T-13.
Mm-hmm.
It was designed to be the exact size and weight of a baseball. And the underlying logic behind that was if American soldiers who watch baseball, who have probably played baseball, could throw a baseball, then it would be easier than potentially pitching a hand grenade. They even taught soldiers how to throw the grenade like a pitcher throwing a knuckleball. And the grenade had an impact fuse on it, so it was designed to detonate on impact.
I guess you weren't supposed to throw it with velocity. You had to throw it like a knuckleball?
Well, so I don't think they wanted you to grip the whole grenade because it had an impact fuse on it. So like if you squeezed it, it was going to blow off your hand. So
it's not a question of where he grips it. It's a question of rate ratio.
So they said grip it like a knuckleball and then chuck it that way. But this thing apparently was terrible. It was either too sensitive or it never worked. The fuse tended to freeze up in winter conditions, and it led to, quote, numerous casualties during development and test, including the, quote, mortal wounding of 2 men and injuring 44 soldiers. I don't mean to laugh about that, but holy cow, it was discontinued very quickly. There were some that were sent to war, and the rest of them were just destroyed because they're like, this is ridiculous. And what do you want from a grenade that was developed by a company that's mostly associated with pictures and photographs? So what do you expect?
Just stick with what you know, Eastman Kodak. Like, I mean, imagine being part of that R&D. It's like, well, okay, this did blow a few guys' hands off, but no, don't bring any of the major leaguers in for this because they might be playing after the war. So, I mean, good God, who signs up for that?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Unless they make prisoners do it. I don't know. They won't do it either. Jesus.
But this came from the idea that baseball was a big deal. So let's create a grenade that you can throw like a baseball. Okay. That's fantastic.
Makes sense. Look, this is the pure idea. It makes sense on paper, but
that's right. That's right. Makes sense on paper.
Yeah.
And hey, let's get Kodak to make it.
Let's get Kodak to make it.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Kodak won that contract. Ugh. You don't think Lockheed Martin's sitting there laughing their balls off?
That's right. That's right.
No pun intended.
That's right. We'll let those photography people figure out how to make a grenade. We'll see how well that goes.
Gosh.
That's right. Well, I mean, that's about as weird as it gets, right? That's about as weird as it gets. And it gets even weirder on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or on YouTube, where you can check out every other weird episode of the Three Tool Players podcast. And you can mash those like, subscribe, and follow buttons, just like the kids do. We'd appreciate that. And you can check us out on TikTok at 3 Tool Players and on x.com at 3 Tool Pod For the birthday boys, Brian and Dan Hammer, I'm Chris Spear, and we thank you for listening to this episode of Three Tool Players.
These aren't the bat nipples you needed. These are the bat nipples you deserve.